Hi, planner peeps. Welcome back to my channel, The Jellyfish Journals. My name is Susie, and today I thought I would use the kit subscription from Archer and Olive to set up a January spread. So I have said before, I'm fairly new to Archer and Olive. I do not currently subscribe to any of their kits or boxes, but I was curious about this little subscription kit, or I think it's called a kit subscription. I should probably learn that. Anyway, I was kind of curious about it, and I thought this one looked really fun and pretty. It comes with a few different papers, that patterned paper you saw back there, a few sheets of stickers with different planner things like the dates and the days of the week, and then some colored bullet journal dot grid paper. Oh yeah, and then this like ombre blue, it's kind of reading purple, but it's more blue in person. And then you got the little pen and a couple of smaller sized washi tapes. So you're not like a full roll of washi, but they wrap it around that little cardboard thing. Since it's a new year, I thought it would be fun to start with some new materials. So I decided to skip a page after the ideas waterfall pages that I did, which that video will be coming soon. Because I tend to always think Christmas is the end of the year, and then I realize there's like a whole week left. So I thought I should leave some space for one more spread to wrap up 2024. And so that's why you'll see I skipped a page there. The other thing you might be noticing is this page is very janky. So that page is fully opened, fully clipped open, and you see how like that left-hand page doesn't go all the way to the edge of the book. I've never seen that in a bullet journal before. I think that's usually what happens at the very beginning of a journal, where that front page is kind of glued to the other side a little bit, and so people turn it into a pocket or they find something else to do with it. Funny enough, this journal did not have a janky first page. I was able to do everything I wanted at the beginning of my journal. None of the pages opened weird or felt weirdly stuck together. But lo and behold, I get to this page in my notebook, which isn't very far into it, not nearly the middle, but definitely a few pages in, and it is really just bizarre. So you're going to see me wrestling with this a little bit and just kind of struggling. Like, it does not want to lay flat. In retrospect, I probably should have glued it to the page on the right and then just left it. I don't think that even occurred to me until this very minute. So I'm kind of regretting that, wishing I'd done that, because you'll see in a future video, it also impacts the page behind it, the page that I skipped over to do the end of 2024 with. It definitely makes it hard for things to lay flat and stick down properly on that page as well. So just keep that in mind as you're watching this video. If things are looking a little weird, or I'm wrestling with things, or they're just not gluing well, it's kind of hard to explain unless you've wrestled with one of these pages, but it just wants to do what it wants to do. It does not want to work with me at all. So not too sure about that, but whatever. It's paper. I will be boss. I will tell it who's boss. So I decided I was going to jump right in with some of this washi tape that was part of the kit. It's like a really pale pink with some blue, like kind of a cobalt blue, I think, flowers on it and little leafy patterns. And I just kind of like the idea of the calendar kind of being offset from the rest of the page with the washi tape. You're going to see me struggling a couple times to figure out where the end of it is, and then I realized it's right on the edge of the card, which is why it was so impossible to find. I will say I am a big fan of these little washi tape cards, because I tend to fall in love with a washi, and unless it's something really neutral like a polka dot or a grid or a solid color, once I use it once, it's kind of like a themed sticker to me. Like, it's been done. I don't want to overdo it and use it everywhere else. And so I end up with a lot of rolls of washi tape. The one that's popping in my head right now is some watermelon washi tape. I don't even like watermelon, but I bought it ages ago for a cute summer spread that I had watermelon stickers for. And I still have this roll of watermelon washi, but it will forever in my mind be connected to that summer spread I did ages ago. And since I don't like watermelon, I sort of feel like a phony putting it all over my journal, even though watermelon is adorable. And so that's a lot of words to say. It's kind of nice to feel like I might actually be able to use up this washi and not just have a roll hanging out and living in my house forever, never knowing if it will ever be used again in a spread. Since they did only give a little bit of this washi, and when I say a little bit, there's plenty. I shouldn't say it that way. But I did decide that whatever scraps I had, I was going to hold on to until I was done with the spread, so I would know for sure that I didn't need them. So I'm trimming down the calendar now, and this was a free download from Archer and Olive. And just so I'm very clear, I am not an affiliate in any way with Archer and Olive. I just will rave about a company that I am impressed with. And I've been very impressed with Archer and Olive so far. And so I definitely have no qualms about going on and on about their materials or their free downloads or their notebooks, because I am just truly blown away by the quality and how beautiful everything is. So now I've got my January calendar, and I had this idea to kind of create like a little Dutch door. My December spread, if you saw that video, was just basically the month and then some events off to the side. But I started thinking about it, and partly in connection to this channel, I wanted a place where I could document a few more things about January in general. So I loved the idea of the calendar. I loved the idea of see, there it goes again. That page does not want to cooperate. I love the idea of some events or things that I need to remember for the month. And I also wanted a place where I could kind of write down ideas for videos for that month, but more so when they need to be posted. So, for example, if I'm going to show my February reading journal layout, I probably don't want to post that in early January. People aren't really ready for that yet. I would want to post that later in the month. And so my thinking was that one side of the Dutch door will be for events that happen in January. The other side of the Dutch door will be just to kind of help me plan out, my thinking for YouTube. And then I wasn't sure what to do with this last page in this spread, but I remember one of my favorite things to do when I was bullet journaling, strictly with markers, no stickers, paper, anything like that, was to do a line a day, just one line every day of either something that happened that day or something that I want to remember, something I was feeling, something just maybe unusual I did. I mean, really just something, just write down something for that day. And I thought this would be a really good place to try and do that again. I did not do that at all in either of my Jellyfish journals from 2024. And I just thought it might be kind of a fun way to document that. I've said it before, I don't really journal like week by week. So you're not very likely to ever see me do, 4 spreads for the month, 1 for each week, or 5 spreads if there's 5 weeks in that month. I don't really predate anything. I don't really Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, anything. I really just decorate a page and fill it out as I go. So I think this is just kind of a cool way to say, hey, pretty much everything that's happening after this spread, this January spread, is happening in January. It won't be perfect, but I don't really worry about that kind of thing. I will say I wish that the paper had been sized for an A5. That's the journal that I'm using, but in order to make it go lengthwise, I did have to use two pieces of paper. And so I tried to line up the images so that it would end up looking like one strip of paper. And then I just ran some more of that pink floral washi down the side just so that it would kind of coordinate with the January that you can see, since you'll be able to see both of these pages, whether the Dutch door is flipped to the left or to the right. So, and hopefully you can see what I mean there. So yeah, so the idea for that right side is that line a day, just something to record that is fun, just something I want to remember. And you can see here what I mean. That's the paper they included, and it's just not A5 sized. I thought it would be kind of fun to, I really wanted to use that mint green paper. It's my favorite color, but also it would coordinate with the scrapbooky supply paper that you saw on the other page. So I decided, which probably also was not the most brilliant thing to do, given that this page was giving me so much trouble, I decided that I was going to just make this whole Dutch door the mint dot grid bullet journal look. So even though the bullet journal is white pages only, I just thought it would be kind of fun to make this whole inside mint. And really, I mean, I wanted to use as much of the kit as I could because that's what I bought it for, really. There are still a few things that are left in the kit when I'm finished with this whole spread, and I held on to that. And that'll be a lot of fun to go and do something else. I tried to stray away from certain elements of the kit. So that blue ombre polka dot paper I don't use at all. That'll come in handy another time when I want to do a bluish spread. And some of the other stickers and things I didn't touch so that they would also be able to be used later. I don't love this place in the middle there where you can see the paper didn't quite fit the whole page, and so I tried to erase some of the glue, and now I've got this awful white spot because the color lifts off the paper really easily. So I do go back and correct that later. Overall, I think the kit is really awesome. I do think this wonky page is really where a lot of my frustration lied. I think I would have had a much easier time if I had just glued those pages together. Sometimes I have my best ideas when it's way too late to do anything about it. And since I am apparently a glutton for punishment, I did decide to cover both sides of this wonky Dutch door in this paper, which only made the Dutch door even thicker, which only made it more unforgiving, I guess, more difficult to work with. You'll see here I'm really trying to get that paper to lay flat in that crease, and it just does not want to. I think at this point, now that I've opened and closed the book a bit more and I've done more journaling in my book and things like that, it is starting to fight with me less, I guess is the best way to say it. But just note to self and note to any of you out there, if this does happen to you in the middle of your journal, I should have just glued that Dutch door down to the page behind it and just made it one page and left it alone. But we learn as we go. So trimming that down a little bit, and that was another thing I realized. It was getting a little tricky to trim it as it got closer to the center of the notebook, which I don't think I'm normally in the habit of putting paper that close to the seam of the book or the crease of the book, but I did, and I was going to roll with it then. I wanted these interior pages on the Dutch door to have the same rounded corners the rest of the journal did, so that's just an old corner rounder from when I used to sell Creative Memories when my oldest daughter was a baby. And now you're going to see me struggle a little bit more because I had this bright idea to put a strip of that same printed paper along the bottom, but the way the paper is oriented, it wasn't quite going to fit. I didn't quite give myself enough leeway, I guess, to do this properly on the bottom. And so I decided not a big deal. I would just glue another little piece like I did before and just doctor it up a little bit. But somewhere in all of this trimming, I goofed. And so you'll see I really had to fix it because by this time I had it in my head that this is what I was going to do. And I was determined that it was going to work. So right now I'm trying to figure out where do I need to trim it so that the images line up. And it really slowed the whole process down. And like I said, I'm not the fastest planner, decorator, bullet journaler, whatever. And it's things like this that usually do me in. I get pretty stubborn, and if I have an idea in my head, then that's what I want to do. And I will fight until I get it the way I want it. But yeah, you'll see here in a minute, I end up having, instead of just gluing the longer strip and then a shorter one on the side, somehow I trimmed it all goofy and I end up having to glue 3 little pieces together to make this work. My thinking for this page that I'm decorating right here is just that it's just going to be a decorative page. So, or at the bottom, I should say. So I've got the calendar. Oh, there I am realizing what I've done. I've got the calendar at the top, and I think I'm going to use that as a workout tracker, 10,000 steps a day tracker, just something really simple where I can put a little mark on each day of the calendar that I actually did my workout or did my 10,000 steps a day or both. I haven't decided. And at the bottom then, I just wanted to do just a little decoration, since next to it on the Dutch door is going to be a list of events or things I need to remember. I just thought this would be a great place to utilize some of those larger stickers that came with the kit. And I went in, I thought about using this tiny little scrap that I saved to go right there, and it wasn't quite long enough. I do like it looking back at it now. And so I decided I was going to take another scrap and trim that down. And so it ended up going all the way across. That way it's not as thick as what's on the rest of the journal, but it still has that same vibe. There it goes again. So now the stickers, the fun part. So I noticed that they came with date stickers, the kit did, and I started to stick them down. I was thinking, oh, that'll be so cute, and the month will have all these colors in it. But as I started to go, I realized a few things. Some of the stickers are considerably larger than the others. So for January 3rd, it's a kind of large pair of scissors. The other thing I realized was it wouldn't give me any room really to mark what I had done that day as far as working out or getting my steps in. And so I peeled them back off. They're not the most forgiving stickers. These little tiny ones did not want to come up very easily. This one I was terrified I was going to rip it. And then once they did come up, they left a little residue on the page, and they did not want to stick back down on the sheet either, which is not my experience with a lot of other planner stickers. So just be warned about that. What I decided to do, though, that I thought would be cute was if I used those as indicators for each day of the month for my line a day. And in order to get them all to fit, because they are different sizes, I did need to stagger them a bit. And I'm not quite sure what this is going to end up looking like once I do start. So here I am counting to see, can I even fit 31 of these in here comfortably? And I realized I could. And I wanted to kind of, most of them have one line for each number, but every so often, if the sticker was a little bit larger or weirdly shaped, like the scissors, I would give it an extra line. So it'll be a little interesting to see when this is all finished, meaning at the end of January when I filled out my line a day. It'll be interesting to see how this actually came together. I'm still honestly having a little bit of trouble visualizing, since my original thought was to take a marker and just line every other line with the marker like we tend to do in bullet journaling. It makes it look nice and makes it a little easy to see where each line is defined. I am not going to do that on this page, which makes me a little nervous. I thought if I used the marker for each line, it would make it harder for the stickers to line up to it. But if I did the lines to match the stickers, then there might be gaps between the lines. The lines wouldn't be evenly spaced. It's a little hard to explain. It would make a little more sense, I think, if I could really zoom in and point to each line and make sure that I was being clear. But I guess just trust me when I say that I am just going to go with this, and I'm going to do a line a day, and I'm going to see how this method actually works for me. I do love the way it looks. It's a little hard to tell, but the stickers are just little planner supplies. So little washi tapes, and there's little flowers and scissors and a pencil cup and little journals, and all the different colors really come together well, given that the paper on the right there has all the same scrapbook supplies. So I think I love how it looks, and I love that I was able to use these stickers, because normally I would not know what to do with them, since I don't do a full calendar and write down birthdays and all those things on there. You probably already noticed some of the stickers I peeled off before those first 3 days of January totally stuck to my fingers, and they absolutely did not want to stick back down on that paper. So I guess I would say, if you are an indecisive planner like I am and you get one of these Archer and Olive subscription boxes, just be aware that if you peel the stickers off of the page, they might not want to go back and live on the page again. They very much want to be stuck down to paper. And, part of it may just be that these are so tiny. So I'm not too sure. But I love how that looks on the side. It's a little bit chaotic, but again, I think once I get my line a day in there, I think it will come together really well. I also knew that I wanted to use some of these larger stickers somehow. So I put this one down here on the bottom right, and I think that's where I'm going to write line a day, which I'm still debating. I haven't actually written that yet because I know it's line a day. And I loved this giant table with all the supplies on it, because it kind of looks like my table that I do my videos on and all my planning on. And so I used that to cover up that ugly spot that I erased and where those two pages connect. And so it disguises it a little bit and just adds something kind of fun right there. And above and below it, I'll just write some events that are happening. I really wanted to use this roll of washi tape because it matched the washi tape that came in the kit that I used around the month of January, and I just was not able to find a place to put it. These are just some decorative stickers. Like I said, I thought it would be fun if that was just kind of decorated there. So I've got a stack of journals there, and then some sticker pages there. Not quite sure what I was counting. Washi tape is the best. I know that was a little random, but washi tape stickers just make me smile. So now on the back of the Dutch door was where I wanted to write down when I was hoping to post some things on YouTube, whether it was at the beginning of the month or the end of the month. Still can't figure out where to put that washi, and I don't know if you could tell, but it is lifting off of that sticker sheet. It does not want to stay down. I decided on this one. It has the same wood as the other sticker, which again, if you can tell in the video, matches my table, so that just made me smile. And I think we're getting near the end of this now. See that crease there? That was the big problem. And I think I'm trying to decide if I want to put more washi there. I have that same problem where those two pages came together there, and I wanted to kind of cover it somehow. And then I remembered that it came with two kinds of washi tape, and this one has a little darker teal with the planner supplies, but it kind of offset all the other colors, and I liked that. I liked that it kept everything from being too light and pale. So I decided I would use that to cover it. And then this part, I apologize. I feel like if that washi is somewhere in the video, then it needs to be somewhere else as well. So I do put it down at the bottom of the January page, which you'll see in my flip through at the end of this video, but I apologize it didn't make it on camera. And all I had left to do was to date my calendar. So I grabbed a Papermate flare in a bluish color that I thought would look really well with everything. And I'm dating up the calendar. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use this same blue to do my line a day. I haven't decided if I'm going to alternate colors for the line a day, or if I'm just going to do all of it in blue. I feel like all blue might make it a little hard to see. But here's the final flip through. And I am actually really happy with how it came out. I am very frustrated by that wonky page in the middle, but I've got my January calendar ready to go, spaces for events in the month. I've got spaces to plan out my YouTube videos, and then of course this page for my line a day for January. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.